Full time here in the Aviva Stadium. It's finished with Republic of Ireland 0, England 2. Declan Rice and Jack Grealish with the goals. Two people who you just didn't want scoring and scored. I said at half time on Instagram in the stories that same old Ireland. We get the ball up the pitch quite quickly, and when we do, we don't know what to do with it when we get the ball out wide. We don't cross in time, we don't get enough bodies in the box. I don't know, it's because we're playing teams that are superior to us. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be fearful of England, we should. The same way we should be against any good opposition team who we know of world-class players, Champions League players, and a lot of players that would get into most other squads and teams in the world. England have that sort of ability in their squad. Ireland, on the other hand, we're still struggling to get players playing at Premier League level. Robbie Brady still playing at left wing back at his age. As good as a player as he has been, and as good as a servant he's been for Ireland, he's just not the answer there at left wing back, and I think we need new options there. What a great servant he's been, and look, anyone's going to struggle up against Bukayo Saka today, so it's nothing personal against Robbie Brady. Matt Doherty, on the other hand, didn't think he had a great game as well. Creevin Keller, just checked there, seven saves from inside the box, and it could have been a lot more only for him. He made some great saves, especially towards the end there as well, to keep the score, I suppose, respectable at 2-0. But we just were lacking a little bit. We have players look unfit. We need players like Evan Ferguson and stuff like that to be getting games at club level, but I can't really kind of go in and lambast the players. England are a very good side, and they showed it today. The goal that Rice scored was, no one saving that. Someone should have been picking them up, but they weren't. A great block initially, but I think it was Nathan Collins, and it dropped to the one person you wouldn't want it to drop to, and then he's the one that sets up Jack Grealish for the second goal, and it was curtains at that stage. I mean, the atmosphere beforehand, it was electric coming into the stadium, and they had put him under pressure, blaring. In fairness to the FAI or whoever was in charge of the music and everything, they did everything they could to get the atmosphere on point, and you couldn't have faulted. But once Rice scored, that popped the air of the balloon, and that was it, unfortunately. Look, it's disappointing. First game under Heimir Hallgrimsson, and it doesn't look like much has changed, to be fair. It's on to Greece now. If we get a result against Greece, that will put a bit more of a gloss on the international window, but it just kind of proves that we're still a long way off where we need to be, and we're still relying on the same old pros, and it's a bit unfortunate on those types of players like Seamus Coleman, who went off injured and could be out injured again. Seems to get injured quite a lot on international duty, can't seem to play games in a quick turnaround, unfortunately. And again, I spoke about Brady being a top servant. I love Seamus Coleman, he's my favourite player, Everton and Ireland captain, but ultimately there comes a day where you need to retire from international football to prolong your career, and I think he may need to have a look at that himself if he wants. It's probably his last year playing football. What a guy and what a professional, and everything he brings to the Ireland setup, that he probably wouldn't retire, but I think for his own sake to prolong his career, he probably should, but he won't. Overall, in terms of players and stuff like that, no one really stood out. It was a very lacklustre performance against an England side that's arguably their B side in patches around the pitch. They still had players like Alexander Arnold, Jordan Pickford, Harry Kane, Declan Rice, Jack Grealish, who would get into most sides, if I'm being honest. Say what you want about Pickford, but the rest of them, they definitely get into most sides. Harry Maguire was solid for them. Mark Ray had a good Euros as well, was solid for them. But look, we struggled against an England side, and there's no point in, I just don't believe in lambasting the players and saying, this and that. They're not as good as the players that we used to have playing for Ireland, and that's the simple reason, is that we largely have a low-end Premier League squad to Championship, and England exploited our weaknesses as much as they wanted today, and they hardly got out of second gear in my opinion. But I thought, look, we brought the fight. They just didn't let the emotion get to them. We didn't, in fairness. Malumbi was a little bit emotional in the middle like he normally is, but he didn't get carried away and he didn't lose himself. I can't honestly say that anyone had a terrible game though. I know a few people were saying that Robbie Brady was. I said anyone would struggle against Bukayo Saka. Matt Doherty probably had a bit of a bad game, but I don't know. He's still kind of struggling to get into a Wolves side. I think he should be slowly kind of ushered out of the team as well. If we ever want to progress to the next level or whatever the next level is, but if we want to get back to challenging for qualifying for tournaments, things need to change and we need better, I suppose. And it's going to take time for things to get better, so I just don't see it happening anytime soon. But that's been my match reaction. Let us know what you think in the comments about the game. What were your thoughts? Were we unlucky? Were we just not good enough? Or let us know what you think. I'll speak to you all later. Talk to you soon.